expert. That's Dr. Mazwe Majola. Good afternoon, Doc. Welcome to the SABC News Desk. We do appreciate you making time coming over on a weekend. So we're 2 or 3 days from the crucial national elections, and we're seeing the final rallies taking place this weekend. What do you make of it so far, especially when it comes to the messages or the thrust of the messages from our smaller parties and the impact they're having on the South African political landscape right now?
Well, yeah, it's 3 days before the big day, and it's a final push today, or rather this weekend, for different political parties. It's like when we are addressing people or in the debate, and then when we are asked now to give your final remarks,
yes.
you know, you have
yes.
debated, you have argued, you have
yes.
said all sorts of things.
Yes.
Now, what is your parting shot? What
yes.
is it that people
yes.
will remember you about?
Yes.
So that's what they're trying to
yes.
do now.
It does. One gets a sense that most of the parties, big and small, new and old, want to tick all the boxes almost, and are really playing to different constituencies and trying to go for a wider appeal, whether they have to use flood victims to do that or the Caster Semenya case, etc.
Yeah, because remember that now they're trying to really attract those undecided voters.
The floating voters.
The floating
exactly.
voters, absolutely. Yes. They're trying to say that choose me, choose us. We are the one for you. Those ones who say, I don't know, yes, I'll be voting on Wednesday, but I'm still not sure who to vote for. So these guys are really
yes.
pushing hard
yes.
to say,
yes.
If you're undecided, why don't you pick us? Because we will deliver for you. So that's a message this weekend, or rather until Wednesday.
Do you feel that the opposition parties are reflecting enough on the relevant topical issues of the day, or they are merely trying to reinforce the weaknesses of the African National Congress?
Well, that's a main challenge they are faced with now. Let's talk about DA, for instance. DA, you know, they've always been fighting the former president of the ANC, Jacob Zuma. It has always been about corruption, just about Nkandla, the Guptas, and all sorts of things. Now they have to change the strategy. Now they're facing Ramaphosa now. Ramaphosa, yes, he's not immaculate, he's not infallible, he's not perfect. He's a human being. He does have his own mistakes. But now they're trying to pick up what can we capitalize on Ramaphosa, and then they are faced with the challenge of Patricia de Lille, because now Patricia de Lille has moved out and then has formed Good Party, and then is going to really hurt them the most. Because the people who would have voted for DA will now be voting for Patricia de Lille. So it's a kind of, what is it that they can sell? Something fresh, something new, something novel, something innovative. Something particularly for young people, when they hear it, they can say that yes, this is the party I can vote for. They cannot be repeating one the same thing,
yes.
trying to, because now people would say that, oh, we've heard about that. You know, Zuma is no more in the ANC, now it's Ramaphosa. So what is it that you are telling us about DA? Because the whole challenge that Musi is facing is a whole criticism of the white organization,
yes.
being led by a black person. So DA is there's still that perception. There's still that perception that DA is still white dominated, but it's just led by a black person.
All right, I want to talk about some of the smaller parties. For instance, African People's convention, the APC, yes, sorry. Temba Godi today saying he wants to get 1 million votes, but there are questions around resources and sustainability going forward, you would say.
We leadership experts will always advise people that whenever you put together your goals, you must be realistic, because we are dealing with human beings. People, they have brains. They think that we are not dealing with stones. So you cannot, when you received 30,000 votes national in 2014, and then you say you are going to receive, or you are gunning for 1 million vote. You know. And I know that nothing is impossible under the sun. You know, you can do that, but really it's highly impossible or improbable that 30,000 votes in 2014, and then you say you want to go for 1 million votes. It's only one seat.
It just starts to sound a little bit overly
ambitious. Yes. One seat in 2014, and then you say you want 30 seats in 2019. I think that would be over ambitious. Yeah.
The IFP hoping to make a dent in the province of KZN, which we know is dominated by the ANC, the largest province of the ANC by numbers. What do they have to do to make that happen, do you think, Doc?
I think they've tried to come back. You know, they were very hamstrung, and they were very handicapped by the split of the NFP. Is the other one NFP?
NFP.
Yeah,
yes.
NFP. The other one. So when the NFP really was formed by Magwaza Msibi, and then that really hurt the IFP, because most people from the IFP and then went to the NFP. In 2009, the IFP received about over 800,000 votes nationally. And then in 2014, after the formation of the NFP, they came down to about 400 something. So they lost more than 300,000 votes, partly due to the NFP. Because NFP received about more than 200,000 votes in 2014. So really that, you can see that that gave them a huge challenge. But it seems during the campaigning, it seems that they've been coming back. And then I hope and pray that they'll be doing better this year.
We also saw National People's Front leader Becky Gumbi in Diepsloot in the township today, really engaging with people on the ground. And this actually can be very powerful, optically speaking. It can be powerful visuals coming through when we see political leaders coming through and actually engaging with people on the ground and listening to their problems and grievances, especially when the overwhelming sentiment out there right now, Doc, is that those in the corridors of power are ignoring the needs of the poor.
Yeah, the challenge with the new parties that are emerging, that are coming, is the question of where will they get the vote from? Are they going to have got the vote from, or will they be able to steal the votes from the ANC or from the EFF or from the DA, or will they go for the undecided vote, or the vote who say that for me I don't know where to go for? There are so many small parties, so it will be very, very challenging for them to make sure that the message they are carrying and the leadership qualities that they are evincing and exhibiting to people are kind of that will attract people to vote for them. But it's going to be steep. It's going to be steep this year. It's not going to be easy for those small parties.
When we're talking about taking the country into the future, we're looking for this particular high caliber leadership. How are political parties doing when it comes to grooming the kind of leadership and mentoring the young people that we want to see take these parties forward?
Yes, I think...
in terms of their succession
yes,
plans
succession plan. I think the AFF is doing well. Of course, as the younger generations, there obvious when it was started by youngsters, and then all of them they are young. Obviously, it will be a question of moving forward because there's still a new party moving forward. How are they going to develop their own leaders? They are doing well because of the students chapters, or you can see that in the most of the universities they've really won the SRCs there. The DA is doing very well as well. The ANC has done very poor when it comes to that. I think the current ANC Youth League has been very, very weak.
Yes.
And it will be the factor or the contributor for the ANC not getting more younger votes. It has been very quiet, very weak. You know, you haven't seen that ANC Youth League, the stronger one, that will really galvanize the young people to vote for them. The SACP as well, the youth there has not been coming up as they used to do before. Partly because of this faction that has been going on within the ANC. People have been focusing more on the factions, have been focusing more on their self-interest, and then they've lost. They've dropped the ball because they've lost the focus in terms of developing the younger, or rather the youth.
South Africans are hungry for good leadership. Let me ask you this way, Doc. What are the elements that make up a good leader? Is it kindness, intelligence, inclusivity, the ability to connect with other human beings on a real level?
Yeah, I think that the one that you've used, the connectivity. How can you connect with the people? Can you go there and then speak to the people? Because remember, if you are a political party, you are a membership organization. So you are a leader voted by people, you know. So people, they vote you in and they can take you out as well. So you've got to have that quality of connecting with the people, connecting with their hearts and with their minds in terms of emotionally and also intellectually. People are looking for leaders who have integrity. You know, people who are consistent, people who are dependable, people who are reliable, who are trustworthy. Someone wants to say, if I can vote for that leader, can I trust that leader? Can I trust that leader that he or she will deliver? People are looking for people who will be not only who are talking, you know, who are saying things, but who are doers. You know, people who are dependable, who can deliver, who can implement things, who can execute things. People are looking for leaders who are courageous, who will be able, who are transformational, who will be able to change things, who are strong and brave, who can say, when I take over, I will be able to change this. I will do this. Like the DA is saying, they're saying that they will cut the cabinet by half. You know, that is a bold step. Ramaphosa has already said that he will cut the cabinet. You know, but people want to see that you don't say things and then after that you don't do it, because people will run away from you.
Let's talk about the president for a bit. President Ramaphosa has spoken out against civil servants, and among them political leaders even, those who loot and take advantage of their positions in power for their own self-gain and self-interest. How do you think his new administration will address this kind of public sector corruption, which has spread throughout the state, including provincial governments and our key public institutions, Doctor?
He seems like a values-driven leader. You can see that really. He's that kind of a leader who has integrity, who has courage as well. So when he takes over, and I'm saying when because really it's ANC will win. It's a matter of how they will win.
Yes,
but from the look of things, as we can see as analysts, we can see that they will win. So when he takes over, I think he has a golden opportunity now to put together a team that is appointed by him. Yes. Surrounded by him, the kind of people who will do things that he wants to implement. So he has that opportunity now that when he takes over, of course, yes, he will restructure the cabinet because he will amalgamate other ministries and other departments, and he will choose people who will go with his vision or will follow his vision and his values and also of the country. Remember that great leaders are surrounded by good people. Great leaders are leaders who are not scared of greatness, of great people. Poor leaders or bad leaders, they want to be surrounded by weak people because they want to
not to be threatened in that position.
They don't want to be threatened, and also they want to manipulate them, But great leaders, they want to be challenged, and they want to be moved, and they want people who are skilled, who are experienced, and people who are educated in different areas. So he will have that opportunity really to put together a team or a cabinet that will follow his vision.
Just on that note, we heard President Ramaphosa reiterate time and time again calls for unity within his political home, the African National Congress. But this is no easy task, is it? It's not an easy path to walk, because we will need the president now to balance the need to maintain unity within the African National Congress with the need to install a new cabinet which can instill confidence within local South Africans themselves and local and foreign investors at that.
That is the huge challenge they will be faced with, because once they win the election, now you have to put together a cabinet. And then, of course, yes, he will have to take into cognizance the unity within the party, but also he will need to have people who are skilled and people who are, as I said before, people who will deliver. But at the same time, he will have to make sure that those people are people who will be well received by international community and also by South Africans. So it's not only for the organization. While he has to make sure that he deals with, because unfortunately the ANC is a very complex, is a big elephant organization, it's very complex.
Yes.
You've got the ANC, the SACP, the COSATU, ANC Youth League, ANC Youth League, Women's League. You've got the community or the SANCO. So he must make sure that he tries to put together all these parties so that they, to pacify and to bring that unity. Yes, everybody. But at the same time as he does that, he must think for the country, because he's the president of the country, not only the president of the organization. So the country must come first.
And the will does seem to be there. It's very entrenched already. The president says he has a plan to create more jobs, to ensure that all workers can earn a decent living, and it is at the center of the ANC's manifesto this year. Now, there have been previous elections, and we go through this every 5 years, where there's a kind of honeymoon period after the elections, if you want to call it that, where everybody is calm, everybody is cautiously optimistic, investors also become optimistic. But can the new president keep the momentum going, I suppose I'm asking, beyond these May elections? But then he's also got to lay the groundwork in terms of policy for a new economic trajectory for the country that can address poverty, unemployment and inequality, because that's what we really want to see, isn't it?
Yes. Cyril Ramaphosa has all the capabilities to do that. He has already demonstrated that. He's organized the job summit. He has organized, has pulled together the social partners, the union, the business, and the government. And so he is the person really who can take the country forward. And he's well received internationally, he's well respected internationally, because as a country we need that kind of a leader. A leader that is respected, that is a leader, when people look at him or her, a leader who inspire confidence, not only into the country but in the international community as well. And he has all the capabilities, the qualities to do that, to be the leader that South Africa really wants.
You did mention something interesting during the course of this interview, former President Jacob Zuma, and the trashing he received in certain sections of the media and certain sections of society. But the reality is that trashing one man will not undermine the African National Congress with it. This is a 100-year-old brand which still enjoys the trust and love of millions of the masses in the country. And do you think this is something that the opposition is overlooking at this point? Are they simply underestimating the ability of a well-loved brand and organization like the African National Congress with such a rich liberation history to change and revitalize itself? Because winning elections is not simply about crushing one individual, is it?
You know, that is a huge mistake. The people who left the ANC and formed COPE, because then they were angry after the Polokwane conference. They were angry, they didn't like Zuma as a person. So that's what happens in the membership organization, as I've said before. Membership organization, you vote someone in, you vote someone out, and there is a term for that person. Of course, these people, they couldn't wait even for the term to be finished for him to go out. So now they left the ANC, and this person they didn't like, Zuma, is no more now. There's a new leader, and the question is, can they come back? Or it's a matter of pride now, exactly, to say that, we want, because now that person, that leader is the one we didn't like, but at least now we've got someone we can trust, and Ramaphosa is that person now.
Yes. Doc, any predictions for post-Wednesday in terms of the ballot? Will the ANC walk away with more than 60%, do you think, this time around?
I think the ANC will win, with a significant majority. Yes, of course, yes, they will be tainted. It won't be easy, but the Ramaphosa factor is a very huge factor. They will do well. And then obviously maybe not all provinces, but nationally they will do well.
Thank you, Doctor. Always a pleasure having you on the SABC News Desk. We do appreciate you making time. I hope to see you soon again.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful.